What's up, guys? This is Chuck Pavoni, also known as Chuck B Comics, coming to you from C2E2. You're listening to Superhero Slate. Peace.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And buy your Avengers tickets now. Get them.
Imagine that red emoji siren just like between both of your heads.
Yeah.
You know, just wee, wee, wee.
You got to get them now. If you don't get them now, you ain't watching it until like at least May.
And you're going to need like 9,000. You're going to need like $9,000 if you're in New York and you want that 6 p.m. showing. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yep. CinemaCon was this week, and then they're giving us a look at the remaining Fox films for this year.
The one convention that I always forget exists, but always delivers like actually very good news.
It's got the most generic name too. Like It's not like some sort of like, was it Brazil Comic Con was some sort of like CCXP or something like that?
Yeah, CinemaCon seems like a front for like a mafia or something.
Yeah, it is. The Joker is definitely a movie. And more.
And more. Shazam came out this weekend. We have 2 reviews up on our feed. So if you had a chance to check that out.
You are jumping the show notes by a long shot, but thank you.
Well, Shazam is like later down in there, so I just wanted to let people know at the top of the show that yes, we do have that. It's in our feed. You got to be subscribed if you want to see that, though. So you can listen to a bunch of nerds leave a convention and then do a roundtable discussion of Shazam, or you can kind of listen to the classic review also.
Have you listened to that yet?
I haven't got around to listening yet, but I thought like Shazam Fever might be coming up this weekend with it coming out, but I haven't seen a whole lot of it on Twitter, so maybe the word of mouth is still growing on the film. I
have not seen anyone say they went and saw it this weekend. There's something else people were going to watch this weekend, and I don't remember what else came out in theaters, but they definitely didn't go see that, that's for sure. I did have an anecdote about how some people are getting tickets to see Captain Marvel instead of Shazam on accident, but that only happens to comic book readers because a normal person would never confuse the two.
Yeah, I can only imagine just like somebody who's just been like locked in their home, just like feverishly like reading through the backlog of both of these characters, and their minds are just like a mess of soup, and then they just like barely able to walk up to the movie theater in like a daze, and they're just like, oh, Captain Marvel, Shazam, I don't understand. Like this is like a 0.001% problem, I think.
Yeah, it's a non-existent problem, that's for sure. That's for sure. What have you been up to this weekend, Mike? You wrote some words in this notes about you would be doing. I don't understand what they mean, so you gotta tell me what this is.
Well, I can. I got like 3 quick updates. My weekly Sekiro update, while that's still in the zeitgeist, I'm slowly making progress. I have kind of past the barrier of just unbeatable to just extremely difficult. So now I'm actually slowly making progress. Instead of taking like 50 times for me to kill a mini boss, it just takes like 20 times. So I'm improving, but it's crazy how dense this game is with mini bosses and full bosses. Like with the other From Software games like Bloodborne, like you would have like a pretty lengthy gap in between bosses and mini bosses until you found your next one. But in this game, it's like you just do like one little segment where you kill a couple ninjas, then bam, mini boss. Kill a couple little ninjas, bam, another mini boss. So there's just a lot of roadblocks there, but it's pretty fun. But I also dove into a very old Hayao Miyazaki film, which I had never seen, but I own, which is a Porco Rosso, which came out in the 90s, about this cursed pilot. I think it's right around the time of, I think it's post-World War II, I want to say. I don't know the exact time frame this happens, but everybody's still flying prop planes. But it's this pilot that was cursed to look like a pig, but this whole kind of like fantasy is just very much in the background. We don't really know how he became a pig or how or what he's supposed to do to turn back into a human, but that's not really the point. But Miyazaki films are always beautiful to watch, so that was fun, jumping in the Porco Rosso, something I've never seen before. And then last week, after we finished recording the podcast, I went and saw the new Jordan Peele film, Us, which was a really fun experience because I loved Get Out, but unfortunately I didn't see Get Out until it was streaming on HBO. So it was just me and my wife in front of our TV, which was still fun and still intense because he makes pretty intense movies. But this was extra fun because we were in an audience full of people, so you get all the or like, you know, nail biting reactions. You can hear the person next to you kind of like jump and freaking out. So if you go check out a Jordan Peele movie in the future, because I'm sure he's going to be making more of these, go catch them when they're in theaters. It's extra fun. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, Chris.
I saw that this week as well. Did you know that?
Us? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was taking a drink of my V8 Energy sparkling kiwi melon.
They're not paying us. Don't say their name. Yeah, I think I watched it like Tuesday night or something like that. My wife was out of town, and she was like, "You can watch that without me." I'm like, "All right." I don't know how I feel about it. So.
It's kind of a hard movie to talk about without throwing like the spoiler flare up in the air. So I'll just kind of keep it.
There are twists.
I'll keep it vague. It's fun. It's fun. Like if you liked Get Out, you're gonna like us. So
I'm not gonna. I can't agree with that.
Really?
I don't think it's as good. So
okay.
I'm gonna go the other way.
I mean, I would slightly agree that I think I like Get Out better, but I still like Us. So I'm looking forward to see what he does next. I know the first episode of his Twilight Zone CBS All Access series is free on YouTube with Kumail Nanjiani, which actually we'll be talking about later in the show, which is not something I thought I'd ever say on the superhero slate. But I mean, I might have to go check that out on YouTube since it's free. And I'll probably never be getting CBS All Access, so this might be the only episode I watch.
Yeah, the one and done.
Yeah.
Speaking of the shows coming up, are we close to Game of Thrones yet? Is that
Game of Thrones is next weekend.
Okay.
And actually, I wanted to shout out one of my favorite YouTube channels, Screen Junkies. They have this cool video segment that they like to produce called Cram It. Whenever like a new like franchise pumps out another chapter of whatever they're making, they do a nice little compendium wrap up of everything that you need to know. Like they did a cool one for like Predator, where like I've only ever seen one Predator movie, the first one. So when the newest one was coming out last year, they did a cool wrap up of all the other Predators and the lore of it and everything. And that was pretty fun. Kind of like it's like a crib note. It's like cheat sheets for all these movies you don't have to watch now. But they just did one for Game of Thrones. And, you know, all of their other past Cram-Its have been, you know, like 10, 20 minutes long. Their Cram-It for Game of Thrones is an hour long. So I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch it next weekend just before the last season premieres. But shout out to all the people over at Screen Junkies that put those together, because that is going to save me a ton of work, because it's not like I have any time to go back and rewatch Game of Thrones. And after a show has like taken a year break, you got to find a way to catch back up. You got to like prime yourself again. So I'll probably go watch that Cram-It for Game of Thrones.
Has it been almost 2 years though?
Well, I mean, yeah, because they took a gap year, and since the show only ran for 7 weeks last year, it's close. It would be close to like 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, give or take a couple months. So, yeah, it's been out of people's brains for a while, which is always risky. But you could only do it with a show like Game of Thrones, like something that big. So, yeah, we probably won't talk about it a whole lot on the show. We obviously won't spoil anything for anybody. But after Game of Thrones is off the air, there's really not going to be a whole lot of, what do they call that, scheduled viewing?
Well, she'll be out May 10th.
Yeah, but it's not the same type of on the level of Game of Thrones, you know. People aren't like trying to rush to get to that to avoid spoilers and stuff. But Game of Thrones could be the last of its kind, you know. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Breaking Bad, you know. Everybody had to watch it on the night that it came out, talk about it the next day at work. So who knows who's going to be the next network or streaming service that's going to get the next kind of appointment viewing. That's what they call it. Yeah, that doesn't really exist anymore. So, yeah, in 6 weeks, we'll be all done with Game of Thrones.
7 weeks, because it starts next week.
Oh, Chris, you and your particulars.
I'm gonna be, because it's the week of weeks, Mike. This is the thing we've been waiting for a very long time. Mm-hmm. The Avengers Endgame tickets finally went on sale.
Wow.
And wow, boy, did they go on sale!
What a cluster F! You were lucky for the time zone that you live in because you were awake when they went on sale. It was like 4:30 in the morning when they went on sale for me. So all of the websites had already crashed. All of the seats were already sold by the time that I woke up at a decent hour to get out of my apartment to head to the office. So I was kind of screwed, but I was able to finagle myself some tickets that, I wouldn't have preferred, but it's definitely better than nothing.
Yeah, so I woke up, standard time, and I'm like, I'm going to just check the website 8:40 in the morning, or 7:40 before the 8 o'clock launch. Lo and behold, they were on sale early. So I was
the website still functional when you found it?
Only 2 people bought their tickets by the time I got there, because most people, they hadn't done any announcements yet. No one had really tweeted or done anything, so I was like on the ball. So I was able to buy 4 tickets in and out really quickly for opening day, IMAX at 6 p.m., and then I was like, I'm going to want to see this twice. So by the time I talked to you guys and came back later, almost all of Saturday was gone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday gone. So I am going for Sunday morning at 10 a.m. to see it in the 3D version of it to get a little variety. Not the IMAX 3D, just a regular 3D. So
yeah, I very much wanted to see this in 2D. That's how I want to see all of my movies to start. But the only showing that had decent seats available were in 3D, which goes to show you at least the appetite for the people that visit my theater want 2D tickets. So I don't think 3D viewings are as popular maybe as they used to be. Or maybe they just are going to always have them anyway because it always makes them a little extra moolah. So unfortunately, I had to go 3D, so I went out of my way to go on Amazon to buy conversion glasses that turn a 3D movie to 2D, because even though I could indeed have some enjoyment out of a 3D movie, this movie's 3 hours long. I would not be able to drive my car home after a 3D movie for 3 hours. So it'll be nice to be able to switch back and forth between 2 glasses and just give my eyes a freaking break. But I wasn't about to not see this on Thursday night. But man, the website, I mean, I'm lucky I'm not somebody that buys all of my tickets off Fandango, like our friend of the show, Quentin Parker, who tried to get his tickets on the Fandango app and was greeted with a screen that said, "Oh, you are now in line to get your tickets. It'll be an hour wait," which was just insane. I couldn't believe that was happening just on like an internet service. Like, you people should have had your servers ready. It's not like this is the first time this has ever happened to you. Don't you remember Star Wars Episode 7? Like, you've had all of this experience before. Like, make sure you have your servers ready. They were not ready, so that was frustrating. But luckily, theater I go to is a Cinemark theater, a little bit more off the beaten trail. So I just went directly to their website, which was slogging. Like, everything technically worked, but every page click I made took like literally 4 or 5 minutes to load to the next page. But luckily it was functional and it was working. So I was able to snag the tickets that I needed. But yeah, it'll probably be a week or two until I can get like legitimate like IMAX tickets, out here in this town. So I will eventually see it in the big glorious IMAX screen, so I can see all the Avengers that I need to. But yeah, I'm glad I got my tickets. But man, what craziness!
Yeah, so it's to the point that some people are reselling their tickets online for $5,000 plus up to $10,000. Why? Why? Just wait. I mean, I get you want to see it firsthand, but like anyone who wants to see it firsthand would have got in there and kind of done that, I guess. You know, like
I saw one that was going. The most expensive tickets seem to be coming out of like New York City, so I'm guessing all of their theaters filled up really quick. And they were going for like $9,000, and they had like one bid on them. So I don't know if that was a real bid or what was going on there, but like, you people are insane. Like, I would, if I was worried about spoilers and for some reason I couldn't see it that opening night, I would just go on a social media blackout on Thursday night, like do my best to like, take off the next day of work, just clear my Friday and just go like Friday morning or something like that, like 9 a.m., So that would be my plan, not spend $9,000 on tickets.
Yeah, and someone was like, oh, I want to wait until the I don't know, someone was telling me they want to wait till the evening to miss all the kids, but I'm like, the opening day people are not, like, the people who are buying the tickets for opening day, the Thursday nights, the Thursday afternoons, are going to be the biggest fans to be around. So I'm very excited for that. My theater is sold out. I went ahead and just looked. They have some handicapped accessible seating. I think 3 seats, and that's all they have left in it. And I'm like, all right, that's gonna be a good thing here.
Yeah, my theater only has that we go to has 8 theaters inside of it, and every single theater is playing Endgame on Thursday night because once obviously all of the like 4 theaters that they booked for it sold out. I checked like later in that afternoon that day, and they put all of their other theaters up for Endgame too. So I mean, I think this movie legitimately could be the first film in a while that could make a run for Avatar's record of highest grossing film of all time. I mean, it has all of the components there. It has the crazy madness of going for the tickets. Obviously, the stakes of what is narratively in the film is there. So it's just is it gonna work? Is it all gonna come together? It'll be close for sure, but you know, Avatar sold itself on like a unique experience. Avengers is kind of selling itself on like a unique narrative that's never been told before over 10 years and like 20 movies, finally culminating. And also it's got the juice of being like, you know, for all intents and purposes, everybody kind of knows it's like a part 2. You know, everyone wants to see what the conclusion of Thanos is in this movie. So it's got all the components. It's got all the good juices. So yeah, I'm really going to be keeping a close eye on that box office report.
I don't think you're going to have to. I think they're going to be shoving it in your face all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to be something you have to dig down and find. Like, they're going to be like, guess what records we just broke?
Yeah, they're going to composite a screenshot of Box Office Mojo in the movie. Like, if you go see this movie on Monday, they'll ship a new cut of the film where, like, Tony Stark's on his computer in his spaceship, and he scrolls past Box Office Mojo.
Well, what if that becomes some... I mean, this is entirely off topic, Mike, but what if they start releasing dynamic video content? Like, you're watching a movie and something can change in it.
I mean, if we're having stuff like Bandersnatch on Netflix, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some sort of streaming service was going to have, like, you know, dynamic content. I mean that seems like a logical next step.
Streaming service is easy, but I'm also thinking like theatrical. Like, you know, like they're referencing a day or something like that, or I don't know, something that it's always changing everything, but it's not like they have to reship a whole cut of the film. They've made it so that only that scene is the section that's recut. I don't know. That'd be interesting. I would like to see that. But anyway, in that regard, this I think what Endgame did in 4 hours, it broke the 24-hour record of tickets sold. Like, it broke records and it broke websites, Mike. So
yes,
hopefully people have been able to get their tickets, you know, reasonably. And I can't believe not even Infinity War had this kind of, I guess,
yeah, this is just insane. I saw that just recently they had some sort of like press conference about the movie, or, you know, they got some sort of group official people together, and they had a bunch of seats in the audience that were left empty for like the fallen heroes. So like even like the PR is like all in on this idea that these heroes are dead and they're going to need to be avenged. So man, this is gonna be crazy. I can't believe this movie is just a few weeks away.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up here. In-game set new tickets pre-sale record. It is reported. It beat in 6 hours. It passed The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Star Wars Story, and Infinity Wars entirely first day ticket sales. It's
making a run at it. I mean, I can't imagine. We should like before the movie comes out, we should place bets like dollar amounts. Well, you know what it's going to do on opening weekend, just to see if we can even predict it. You know.
Well, I'd say even for have you ever used Atom tickets?
No, I haven't.
I've used it like twice because I got some cheaper discounts to them. At CinemaCon, they announced that in the first 24 hours, in-game sold more tickets than Aquaman, Last Jedi, Infinity War, and Solo combined.
Ooh, wow.
And that's 4 of the movies that round up. That's all the top 5 movies right there. So I'm just blown.
Disney's going to pay for this Fox merger with one film.
Yeah.
This is going to be crazy, man.
I will tell you the other record it holds. It will be the longest movie in a franchise.
Oh, wow.
Rounding out 3 hours and 58 seconds officially.
man, I know I'm going to need one or possibly two bathroom breaks during this movie. So hopefully that our bathroom breaks will stagger, and then we can come back, and when we talk about this movie on the podcast, you can fill me in on the couple seconds I missed. I'll fill you in on the couple seconds that you missed, because I know I'm going to be running to the bathroom, and I'll do my best to keep my window down to seconds rather than minutes. But man,
that's why I got a second screening to fill in the hole.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad that this movie is long, which is something I don't usually say, because that just means there's nothing. No stone is going to be left unturned. No Infinity Stone is going to be left unturned. Man, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great.
This
man.
is very exciting. So the only thing that would hinder this movie from reaching Avatar's box office numbers is how many tickets can they sell, in a day, because you've essentially. Avatar's maybe 2.5 hours or something like that, so they've got an extra half hour on them. So every 4 hours they can sell another movie. But as fast as this is selling, I'm very excited to see where it goes. To see, kind of like Rhodey, if does this movie have legs? At this point? That's a low blow. I understand. But also they also confirmed this week, because everything this weekend is the big press deal with Endgame. This is a rated PG-13 movie, finally. They've locked the cut in. There's no more changes, and it's rated PG-13, which is not really a surprise to me.
No one's surprised at all.
Yeah. But to announce the tickets are on sale, they've released a trailer that I will not let Mike watch. Unless Mike has already watched it.
You have dubbed it the Forbidden Trailer. I know people want us to talk about it on the show, but I'm not going to watch this trailer. And I do not feel bad about not watching it. But I'll reveal at the very least of what I think I saw in it, because social media algorithms will put things in front of your face. So I think I heard somebody say that they have, in this trailer, they have filled in that CGI hole out in the lawn when all the characters are looking up with the character.
Nope.
But people are saying that it could be one person, so I don't know about that. And then I think I've seen some screenshots where Captain America and Iron Man are sharing the same frame together. So who knows if that was composited or what's going on here. But I think it's safe to say that you can't really trust anything in these trailers to begin with, because Kevin Feige has already said he's manipulating them. So I'm glad I didn't watch it. I didn't need to watch it, but Chris told me I shouldn't, so I'm not watching it.
Yeah,
so
as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is not... So the other two share a lot of footage. This is all new footage.
Oh,
cool. And this is going to... I'm pretty sure this is still very early on in the movie, Mike. Like, this is like, first act even. And even though you saw it, I can just imagine how upset you'd be if you did. So I watched it, and I'm like, all right, I'm excited. I know a lot of other people watched it. They've talked to me about it. It gives me some new theories that I can't posit to you until after the fact. But I will tell you there is one thing in this I want to bring up that's not a spoiler, Mike. I guarantee you it's not a spoiler. Hawkeye has an entire sleeve tattoo on his left arm now.
Oh, I think I saw that. That he had something going on there.
Yeah, so I was like, well, that is interesting. Of all the things I could see, that was probably the most interesting.
Well, we already knew he was very jaded, so they just wanted to visually show him jaded with a tattoo. One thing that's really bugging me, though, since this is a trailer now that I have officially not seen, people are getting very, very good at doing composites of this bizarre idea of Ant-Man going inside of Thanos and expanding, and they're getting very, very good. They're getting very, high polished models and putting stuff together. So I've seen clips of it, and I'm just like, wait, this wasn't in the trailer, was it? I really have to avoid this stuff now.
Oh, yeah. You thankfully... There was April Fool's this week. We forgot about that. And one of the articles was Kevin Feige said that there is a Ant-Man cut coming. It's a special edition of the movie that's the Ant-Man cut, which is not really happening. So.
Just fan fulfillment in all the different ways he could go inside Thanos' butthole. Because that's what all you people are thinking about, right?
You sick sons of bitches on Reddit. You can't get away from it at all.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. We have this big question, Mike. The people who died in the first one, what is their role in this, if they have any at all? Where are they going to be? And they are not telling us anything. Like I even after watching an extra whole minute, I have more questions than answers. And
Yeah, I think my biggest question is, what does the final act of this movie look like? You know, is it going to be a big battle? Is it going to be a spectacle where everybody comes back to life? The practicality of like 20 plus heroes like all punching Thanos just like physically doesn't work. Like you can't even get all those punches in. You know, like in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book, it's like this kind of sprawling like other dimensional space location that they're in, and Adam Warlock's there. People are jumping along like these weird like floating platforms trying to get to Thanos. So like I just feel like, you know, maybe something like that's not really going to translate the film. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out just the general specifics of like, you know, how do you actually like fight this big dude in a big battle at the very end. So these are questions that obviously will be answered in the movie. But yeah, that's where my brain's at right now, but only time will tell, Chris.
Yeah, it will tell. And if anyone does want to talk this trailer over with me, let me know. Mike, do I have your blessing to do a special episode on this specific trailer if someone wants to talk to me about it?
Yeah, if you really
because
want
to. I know
to.
you don't listen to our show.
Well, because I live it. Yeah. Why do I need to listen to it?
You didn't listen to the other Shazam review, Mike. I'm just pointing something out. But if anyone wants to talk about it, let me know. We will. Mike showed me a couple tips on this YouTube plugin that lets me go frame by frame, and he should never have done that because now I'm like living this trailer. Frame by frame.
Analyzing every little bit. I'm happy that it was only a 60-second trailer though, because that means it probably won't be forced upon me in front of Hellboy this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Because usually theatrically they like to stick to the longer cuts. So I think if it pops up and I see it, I might run out of the movie theater like, where's that guy going? I gotta get my tickets. I didn't buy him yet.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be wild. I think they should just keep running the first or the second trailer because they've already sold their tickets, Mike. They don't need to show us anything new. Unless it's just the title, hey, Endgame tickets now on sale. That's it. That's the whole trailer. Captain Marvel is still in theaters. I know someone who just went and saw that today, actually.
Oh.
Which they meant to go see this Captain Marvel and not Shazam. And it officially passed $1 billion at the box office.
Hey, there you go, Disney. Collect that dollar.
So, everyone, you know, it's, again, we've said it's a good movie. It's not the greatest Marvel movie, but there's 20 films in the franchise. You know, what do you do?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, for a female-led superhero movie, Wonder Woman's still good. It didn't make this money, but, you know, Captain Marvel is just raking it all in right now.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say, you know, after I've sat with the movie for a little bit, I would just safely say mid-tier. Like, if you had to separate all these Marvel movies into tiers, you know, bottom tier, mid-tier, top tier, I think it's safe to say it's in the mid-tier. And then as a caveat to say, even Marvel movies in the low tier are pretty entertaining films for the most part. You can still watch them and have a good time. So it just goes to show you the quality of the MCU in general, that even if you fall into that bottom tier, you're still doing better than a lot of other stuff that's coming out into the theater, you know?
It's true. Like, I really hate The Dark World, but I know people who really enjoy The Dark World. So there's a Marvel movie for everybody out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, by the pure numbers, if they keep making them, they're just factually will make a movie for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. As of right now, 2019 has some pretty good numbers. Captain Marvel's up there. We talked about Us being it's up there as well. I'm just looking at top 20. Dragon Ball Super Broly. It's 18 this year.
Wow, look at that.
Right? It's actually above The Kid Who Would Be King, but below Shazam by a little bit. So
you saw The Kid That Would Be King, right?
No, I did not see that.
Oh, somebody else saw it, and they said it was actually like surprisingly entertaining. Like, it was kind of shocking that it wasn't just kind of like just dribble, kind of made for just a younger audience. So well, I'm surprised because to me the trailers, I just wrote that movie off. So.
As we know, the cinematographer for A Kid Who Would Be King was Bill Pope, who also did Alita Battle Angel this year, and is known for his work on the Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi, The Matrix, and a fan favorite, Blank Check from the early 90s.
Oh, I love Blank Check. Yeah, The Kid That Would Be King seems like the perfect property that would drop early on a streaming service, just because, you know, it's not really based on anything that anybody's clamoring for. So it seems like something, once it's streaming, maybe I'll give it a watch.
If Fox had two movies come out the same week, Alita Battle Angel and Kid Who Would Be King, and only one of them was really gonna quote unquote be king of the box office, so it was not that one. It was Alita that weekend. But in that news, speaking of female-led superhero movies, we are very, very much speculating that next May's Marvel movie will be the Black Widow solo movie. And David Harbour has reported to have joined the cast, which we will see this weekend in Hellboy.
I love David Harbour. I want David Harbour and like Carl Urban to do a movie together. Those would just be like two like gruff dudes that I would just love to see throw down in a film.
But I need David Harbour to be the guy who talks about doing laundry, though. So it can also be a tie dad.
Oh my gosh. You're still living up that last year's Super Bowl commercial, aren't you?
Because it was brilliant. It's one of those things that pops up because I use Tide. I mean, not that commercial made me want to use Tide at all, but I'm just like, man, I really want them to do this somewhere in there. But also on that note, actress from the Mummy franchise, Rachel Weisz is in talks for a key role as well in this movie. So it looks like Black Widow may be looking to hire, we also talked about Emma Watson, some of the higher caliber actors that have not been in Marvel movies to kick off this movie.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm expecting espionage. I'm expecting kind of like globe-trotting secrecy, maybe somewhere like on par with like something like The Bourne Identity, running around to different government facilities and infiltrating. But of course, it's a Marvel movie, so I'm hoping they can find a way to sneak in some cool super-powered stuff that she has to, because, in a good story, you want to throw everything that you can at your hero so they persevere. And, I want to see her beat up somebody super powered, just kind of like prove that she kind of deserves to be in the Avengers. Because like most of the time they do a good job putting her in front of a foe that she can handle, even though they might be an alien or they might be super powered, she's just crafty enough. But, let's just put it down for the record that, she's so good at being a spy that she's superhuman, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. How does, like, essentially her and Hawkeye, how are these two normal people on par with gods among men, in terms of the Avengers? And she does hold her own, and I don't want to see a history of her training and her Red Room, and that's essentially that movie. What was it, Red Sparrow, that came out last year? So that would be boring as hell. But I mean, I want to see some really good action sequences with these characters. So where do these characters fit in? When does the timeline fit in? I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. There was a rumor I saw that Andre Holland from the movie Moonlight is possibly rumored to be Taskmaster as well, but that's just a rumor, and I'm not going to put that in our notes for anything.
All right.
But I would like to see Taskmaster. Are you familiar with him from playing Spider-Man?
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I remember him from. He was kind of cool.
Yeah, so he has the photographic memory. As if you do a move, he has the photographic memory and reflexes to do it exactly after watching it. So that'd be a hell of a person to put up against Black Widow.
I mean, I don't want to ruin this for everybody because it was ruined for me, but I was binge watching the show Adam Ruins Everything over the week. It's in the
title, Mike. I can't. Yeah. I'm surprised it was ruined.
And there was a segment where I didn't know this, but apparently photographic memory is not a thing. It was based on like a really flawed study where this one guy ran a study on a woman, and then he ended up marrying her, and then he ended up kind of messing with the results to kind of like protect his new wife or something like that. So I guess photographic memory does not exist, but in a superhero world, I suppose it can exist. So
yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot in this world that shouldn't have happened, Mike. So thank you for ruining that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Marvel's Eternals, casting keeps coming out on this. Actor, you talked about this, Kumail Nanjiani is reportedly joining the cast as well.
I love this guy. He is so much fun. Go watch his film Big Sick, which I'm pretty sure is streaming for free, probably on Amazon Prime, maybe elsewhere. It's such a fun movie with heart to it, and Kumail is just hilarious. He's a stand-up comedian that has really kind of exploded recently, where he's starring in that first episode of Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. He has a movie coming out this summer with Dave Bautista, as we all know as Drax, and it looks like he might be weaseling his way into the MCU. It's weird for me to imagine him being like a super-powered person, like throwing punches, just because he's just so opposite that of his personality. So I don't know, maybe he'll be a character that's more like mind-oriented or kind of like strategic.
He could even be our human window into this world.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's kind of like the... what's the
Jane
guy's
Foster of the Eternal. No.
Yeah, or I was thinking of the guy who's in Ant-Man 2 that he's the parole officer for Paul Rudd. What's his name? He was also in Aquaman. He was like the crazy Alex Jones skeptic type guy.
Fresh off the boat. Or, no.
Yeah, he's also in Fresh Off the Boat. I can't remember his name, but I suppose he could be like the human person, like freaking out what's going on.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, I just imagine it was like a male Natalie Portman's character, Jane Foster from Thor World. Like, I discovered this world of super people, and I fell in love with one of them kind of thing.
Yeah, I love this guy. I'm so glad that he's getting big roles like this. So big ups to Kumail.
That means they're working on casting the Eternals. However, I'm going to flip this on our head. We've predicted this being November next year, Mike, for months. The new rumor right now is Doctor Strange 2 is ready to go for November 2020.
Well, if I remember right, the first Doctor Strange was also a November film because I usually remember November movies because it's right around my birthday, and I'm just like, oh, what a nice present for me on my birthday. So at least that would line up with the time the last one came out.
Yep. So apparently the script is ready to roll, the director's ready to roll. They're just waiting for us to say he's not really dead for good in Endgame. So even if they waited till Comic-Con. San Diego, they announced it there, that would still give them a full year and something to get it going, which would be plenty. This Marvel movie operates on a year window at a time, so I think that's pretty good, which is better than what as Aquaman like 4 years in between sequels. And the Eternals is probably going to be very effects heavy, so they could put that on the back burner for a little bit and maybe pump that out in 2020. Now, I also thought, this is my personal thought here, if with James Gunn back in Guardians, they're probably going to fast track that to production. They may push the Eternals back a little bit longer and work on that a little while if we can get Guardians out, because Eternals I think was maybe to replace Guardians in terms of the cosmic side of things for a little bit.
I mean, I hope nobody burns out James Gunn over there, because I know we kind of did that to Joss Whedon with Age of Ultron, so I know that they're going to want to get this schedule up and going, and James Gunn, he loves those characters of Guardians. He's going to want to do the fans and everybody justice and hop on that movie, but if he needs to take a break and they need to push that film, I'd be totally okay with it, because I want a good Suicide Squad movie, a Suicide Squad reboot, I guess, with him, but I also want him to do his probably his last Guardians movie justice, just because, not a lot of directors go on for a fourth film of their movie. There are exceptions, so I want him to kind of possibly do his last Guardians movie the way he wants it, not rushed, not burnt out, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think they would if he definitely needed it, but I mean, I think he was ready to go last year. And they were like, well, we got to fire you for like 6 months. So
go take your 6-month vacation now. Yeah,
here, go take a breather for a little bit.
Yeah, but then unfortunately he's like, nah, I'm going to do another movie. Nah, damn it.
I'm going to tackle the impossible and try to make a good DC movie out of something that was absolutely terrible beforehand. So good luck to him. But Doctor Strange too, I'm excited. I want to see what they do. I think, again, we're going to see a lot of announcements, a lot of flexibility maybe in those announcements after Endgame is out and rolling. Because what's it going to say after the credits? The Avengers will return? Thanos will return?
I love post-credit scenes. I know there are probably some film purists out there that, they're probably just, butthurt for some reason about that post-credit scenes exist. But I live for the post-credit scene. I love it. It's just kind of like when you finish like reading a comic book or something like that, and there's like that last panel that teases the next issue, or like, if you think of it more like in film, like television, I love cliffhangers at the end of seasons. They just get you all excited. Back in the day, it used to be all summer. You were like, who did shoot Mr. Burns? I gotta know. So I love post-credit scenes. Well, I can't wait to see what's on the end of Endgame.
I think it's not even that. I think it's also just the point, like, Marvel made a promise. It's all connected. And what is rather than ruining your movie and trying to connect it to everything else, what is the part of the movie that connects it to the larger world? The post-credit scenes. And for that, we love having them. And I'd love to have more. I'd have like 8 post-credit scenes a movie if I could. But that's probably too many. A show that ended on a cliffhanger, speaking of those, The Umbrella Academy Season 2 has been ordered at Netflix.
Good. I mean, I think we all assumed it was going to happen. They had those headlines that it was doing better than the #1 show on the number one superhero show on TV, which is The Flash. So the Umbrella Academy was able to eclipse that even for a brief amount of time when it was released. Of course, they're getting a season 2. I'm super excited.
Yep, 10 episodes back to Netflix. Apparently, the third volume, Hotel Oblivion, I think is what it's called. The comic book is going on right now. I've been reading some articles about it, so I expect to see a lot of the sales of this series going up, and a lot more of them coming out with the pressure to release more stories. So
maybe Gerard Way will. Maybe he'll be at CinemaCon this year. Maybe we can go see him.
Yeah, but like, tell us more. Tell us how do we get a cool umbrella? Like, that's what we want. We want to join your Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great cosplay idea, Mike. We just dress up as like the kids.
I thought of a great cosplay after seeing Us, because whenever you go see whenever you go see a popular movie, you just always assume that this is going to be a Halloween costume this year. And this is no spoiler for the film Us, but in the trailers you can kind of see these creepy characters wearing these orange jumpsuits, right? And they look a lot like their other counterparts in the film. They're kind of like mirrored people. You can see all that in the trailer. It's not a spoiler. So I was thinking what would be a great idea is what you do is you go to Comic-Con, you get the red jumpsuit, you get like the gold scissors, and you get the leather glove, the fingerless leather glove on your one hand to be one of these people from Us. But then you pick like a comic book character that a lot of people cosplay as, like maybe do like Joker makeup. And then what you do is you just find another person cosplaying as Joker, and then you just kind of creepily follow them around. And so I was like, oh, that'd be so funny. I'm not going to do that because I think the costume heavily relies on a facial similarity to another cosplay, since all the rest of your costume will just be a jumpsuit. And I was always the kid that went on Halloween that didn't want makeup. I didn't want to be a makeup vampire. I didn't want any sort of makeup involved. So I would look out for that cosplay if it happens, and if it exists. It was my idea. Everybody else stole it.
I am looking forward to fraternal twins doing that.
Oh yeah, that would be a good Halloween costume.
Yeah, or Comic-Con if they're both into that. That's the perfect way to do it right there. I didn't see a lot of Umbrella Academy people dressed up at at C2E2 though, so they really love to dress up as Klaus with the clear umbrella.
I did see a lot of Klaus. He's pretty easy to do because you just wear a casual tank top. You write what does he write on his palm? Hello, goodbye. Write that on your palm. Just make sure you got some disheveled hair and you got a Klaus.
Yeah, and the clear umbrella, the clear dome umbrella.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. CinemaCon's this week as well, and we're very excited for CinemaCon because Disney did confirm some of its movie panel. Like I wish I need to pull this up, Disney CinemaCon 2019, because it showed a couple things are going on here. Some of their, since they now own Fox, what movie franchises are they going to be working with, and they said that they're going to continue making movies in the following franchises. Mike, you ready?
Yes.
Aliens.
Okay.
Cool. Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
I've heard good things. Kingsmen.
Okay.
And Avatar. Not the last Airbender. But that last one's not really a surprise because they literally own, like, one of their parks is built around Avatar.
Yeah. I think Planet of the Apes surprises me the most because they just did a very, I would say, critically successful franchise of Planet of the Apes. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch the last film in the franchise, but I heard it was good. The motion capture, everything Andy Serkis did with all those characters was amazing. So it's just like, what else are you gonna do? Like, they've kind of already told like a lot of different angles for this franchise, so I don't really know how else you kickstart that or keep it going. But I would say if you're going to continue with the Planet of the Apes franchise, give it a rest for, like, honestly, a decade. Like, take a while till you come back to it. We don't need any more right now. But Aliens is very interesting because I kind of saw almost conflicting headlines where, some people were saying, it's going to be like a fresh new take possibly on Aliens. And then I saw one that said they're going to continue with what Prometheus laid down. And I was like, I don't want more Prometheus. I don't want any more of Ridley Scott's nonsense.
No, Alien Covenant was kind of the last straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. But if they want to branch out, go forward, maybe go do that Neil Blomkamp version now. Go add some more to it. Just don't go backwards. Let's go forwards a little bit. Do Alien versus Predator 3. Everyone's really wanting those. The cult classics of the other ones. But I just sent you the picture of their release schedule for this year. And lo and behold, guess what movie is on here, Mike?
Let's see here. I'm looking through here. We got Aladdin, Toy Story 4, Dark Phoenix, and I think you're talking about New Mutants.
New Mutants on the release schedule. And all these movies, just looking at this real quick, are theatrical release movies, Mike. These are not streaming service movies. They are not direct download movies. They are theater planned films. So I think they're going to go with New Mutants in theaters. Maybe a short run, maybe not a lot of marketing, but I still think they're going to put it up there for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is indeed a timeline we're looking at here.
Yes.
So, what does this look like? Maybe August for New Mutants, possibly? Isn't that when it was originally slated to come out still?
I think so. I need to go check superheroslate.com, our release schedule page. But Artemis Fowl, which is the movie right underneath it there.
Isn't that the Disney streaming service movie, though? I don't think that one's getting a theatrical release.
No, that's Kenneth Branagh. It's going to theaters on August 9th. So that is August. So it looks like it's before August. Maybe September would be New Mutants.
Weird. I mean, I was also kind of taken back by Spies in Disguise because I think I remember watching that trailer and I didn't know Disney owned it. But Spies in Disguise, I just remember there was a fun song in the trailer by Mark Ronson, which I really liked. So I don't know if the movie's going to be any good, but I kind of want to see it.
Is that the Will Smith one where he's a bird?
Yeah, he turns into a bird. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it, but it looks like it might be fun.
Yeah.
You're like, Mike, you're crazy.
Yeah, a little crazy. But yeah, no, it's I just did a quick search. Artemis Fowl is coming up in theaters, 3D and IMAX in 2019. So it's coming for us, man. I think these movies are gonna hit. And like you said, it is a little bit of a timeline here, and you know, we've got Star Wars Episode 9, no title yet. You know what this weekend is?
Isn't it a Star Wars Celebration?
Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, so by the next podcast next week, we might be talking about a new Star Wars trailer.
We're going to be talking Star Wars. We're going to be talking Star Wars regardless. I don't know if it'll be a new trailer, but we have a superfan Jim on the floor at Star Wars Celebration this weekend. So
rad.
He is, I think, going to feed us some information. If anyone else is going to Star Wars Celebration, I know one of our listeners, Jason, might be up there. He's been going for years. And you hear something, see something, let us know. We would love to cover it and give you some credit here. But there's some movies in here I've never even heard of on this Disney slate, like Call of the Wild and
something like Ford. Was like Ford and the Ferrari, or
that's Ford and Ferrari. That's the story about the Henry Ford and the guy who made Ferrari. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a documentary.
More of a like a biopic on him. I think Tom Hanks plays Ford in that one, but
of course Tom Hanks is on a bender of playing every historical white man there's ever been.
So we got some movies. The back half of this year looks pretty rough, is what I'm just saying right here. from Disney and previously Fox. Back to the show notes. Dark Phoenix is on this list as well, and while we're not overly excited for it, they have confirmed this is the last X-Men franchise film. So, meaning New Mutants will not be directly tied into the X-Men movies. It'll be more of a standalone film. Whereas Dark Phoenix will be the last of all those movies we can finally get rid of.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if maybe... Yeah, New Mutants is still the biggest question mark. I know we're talking about Dark Phoenix, but it just honestly puts me back on the New Mutants of how valuable is that cast? Because I'm just trying to think, like, what's the give and take of that film? Because I still think there's no way you can massage it to really kind of get it perfectly fit into the MCU. But maybe they just don't want to lose the cast so much so that they'll just keep the movie alive and maybe try to pivot it into a sequel that does fit into the MCU. Because you got Maisie Williams, you got the Stranger Things kid, there's some other people in there, that actress from Split that was really good in Split. So they might just like those actors enough to keep the film alive, but definitely not for Dark Phoenix, because those actors, sorry everybody that thought they might be getting more X-Men films in their portfolio, but that ain't happening.
No, and if it is, they're not hiring you back. So... sorry, so long. I'm just not excited for Dark Phoenix. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna hate watch it.
Yeah, this seems like a Saturday morning film for me. I'll get like a 10:30 a.m. showing at my theater. Just go in, get it done with.
One of those films I can casually go to the bathroom in and not have to rush back. You know.
Yeah.
You can really scrub your hands clean before you get back in there.
Motivate yourself to get to the theater because you bought like a really good snack and you just need an excuse to eat it. So
I'm gonna buy one of those
plan.
pretzels that's the size of my hand I showed you last time I had there.
Oh,
that'll do it. That'll do it. Hellboy is in trailers this week, the upcoming movie, and there was a new trailer this week, a new R-rated trailer. I'm not linking it here. You gotta go find it yourself. Very gruesome, very gory. Actually looks really cool, and introduces the character Lobster Johnson into this film.
I didn't know Lobster Johnson was a thing. I'm excited for Hellboy. I'm gonna see it this weekend. We're gonna do a spoiler cast on the show, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Give Hellboy the money while you can, because it will not be getting any money in 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is a small window. You can go see it. Again, it's R-rated, so don't take your kids. I did link the trailer in here because it was so cool. It's like a
I like how you're like, no, Papa Chris isn't gonna give you this trailer, but then he sweetened up and he gave it to you.
I did because I got this. Mike was like, I don't know what Lobster Johnson is. Well, you're gonna, because it's Thomas Hayden Church is playing him, and he was a character, like a pulp character in the like Hellboy was like, oh, I look up to Lobster Johnson. He's a comic book character, but you find out he was like a really guy in that universe. So, and it's cool. It's really cool. That's gonna be fun. I'm excited to go check out and munch on some theater snacks while watching this absolutely brutal
and
movie.
It's rated R, so you're not going to have any of those dang brats in your theater. I mean, you will have some irresponsible parents that will be taking their kid, but at least you'll get to avoid a lot of the tinier ones.
When are you going to see yours, Mike?
I think I'm going to go see it Saturday night. My wife is having some ladies over for some just lady times, and I was like, I don't need to be here for any of that. I'm going to go see a rated R movie about a guy from hell.
All right, that sounds good. So yeah, I haven't got my tickets yet. But I don't think they're selling out nearly as bad as...
Yeah, this is not a movie I'm worried about snagging my ticket for.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's coming out. Watch the trailer if you want, but don't let your kids watch it. Shazam, as we talked about at the top of the show, is in theaters right now. It's not really raking in the dough, sadly.
Yeah, we weren't really sure if the box office numbers are complete. Obviously, it's Sunday, so all the numbers that you would see are still estimates. We won't know for sure until Monday. But just before we started recording, we started like bouncing around to other kind of almost comparable in scope superhero movies. And right now, this movie for opening weekend is only at like 55 million. And the only superhero film that we could find that matched that opening weekend was The Incredible Hulk, which was one of the earliest MCU films that no one even remembers. Even Thor: The Dark World did like, what was it, like 85 million on opening weekend. So I think we both thought, this movie was really good. I don't know if the fan screenings 2 weeks ago were just so successful that maybe it just kind of drained some of the enthusiasm early. I don't really know.
Mine was empty in Chicago, and I was in like a main theater. So like, no one was set to the left of me, and a guy I knew showed up and bought tickets right beforehand. I mean, I think it's the month of April, to be completely honest. Just looking here at the April release dates, the biggest one is Infinity War, but that came out literally the end of it, the last like day of April.
Yeah, it was supposed to be May,
and there are 4 Fast and Furious movies in the top 10 above this, and then Winter Soldier made the 95 million. So I just don't know if people aren't seeing it. Word of mouth isn't cool. Are they going to see Captain Marvel instead because they're confused comic book readers?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I kind of thought maybe the third act kind of surprise might be enough word of mouth, to get people to go to the movie. I don't know. Maybe this movie will have some legs, but if I was DC, I would just be very worried that Endgame is about to literally cannibalize the physical theaters that you could see Shazam in. Like, if for some weird reason you wanted to see Shazam like Thursday night that Avengers comes out, which I don't know exactly what kind of person that is, but you couldn't even see it at my theater if you wanted to, because every single room is playing Endgame. So I'm hoping the best for Shazam, because we really liked it. It was fun. We want to see the sequel. So hopefully worldwide, it does enough, makes its money back. So
it word of mouth needs to happen fast. Because with Hellboy's next weekend, and I think Hellboy's a more recognizable franchise and character, so it could eat into this a little bit. People seeing their comic book people, but I mean, I don't know. It's gonna gotta go quick, or it's gonna be lost in the next couple weeks, man. So poor little Shazam, the movie, movie that couldn't.
Yeah, there's our word of mouth. Go check out Shazam.
Yep, we have 2 review episodes. You can go find those. The Joker dropped us a teaser trailer this week, and we haven't really talked about this yet.
Yeah, we haven't. Honestly, I was shocked when I watched it. I wasn't expecting to see a trailer that kind of gave me the vibe of, like, I don't want to say real movie, but just like, this didn't feel anything like a superhero movie in like a good way. This felt like I was watching a very dramatic trailer for like an edgy film from like an edgy director, and it just happened to be about the Joker. I don't know. It just seemed like it was just hitting all the right vibes for me. This was a really great teaser trailer. I mean, really, you just see Joaquin Phoenix in clown makeup. I mean, if the word Joker and the DC logo never popped up, you might not even assume this is about the Joker. So I think everybody is already kind of predicting the narrative after seeing this trailer of just kind of dude that,
I literally cannot
pinpoint
where this movie goes.
It just seems like a dude that's kind of already unstable, has like a really bad couple days in a row, and just kind of becomes a villain. But do we have any official word on what decade, what time this takes place? I think I saw him playing with some VHS tapes. So is this like
there's VHS tapes?
90s?
There's a Robert De Niro's a talk show host, and the talk show looks very late 80s ish. Now this is based on the Killing Joke book, where I think it was Alan Moore, maybe Frank Miller, so whoever wrote it. Wrote the premise that the Joker was essentially, we're all one bad day away from becoming the Joker.
But it's not based on the direct narrative of what's in the Killing Joke.
Right.
Because Batman's in that.
But like the Joker line of it is, because the talk show host and some of these characters are in it as well. But like, he's dealing with Batman's dad. There could be a kid who could be Batman in the trailer. But like, I'm gonna be honest, this looks like an Academy Award level superhero film. Yeah,
it looks good. I'm honestly shocked, but at the same time, when they announced Joaquin Phoenix was going to be the Joker, I think we were both like, hell yeah, that's really good casting. Like he already kind of looks like the dude.
It's given me. Have you ever watched The Machinist with Christian Bale?
I've seen a lot about it, but I've never watched
how skinny he got. Like the frame of Joaquin Phoenix in some of these shots looks he looks like a sickly dude mentally and physically, and he's just down on his luck, and then something snaps and he becomes a Joker. And there are points in this where I'm very convinced it looks like Heath Ledger's version at some points, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, some people are like, oh, it's Heath Ledger's. I'm like, it's not really. Like, how do you make the Joker come to life without making the same look across multiple people? But let's just also take a moment and be thankful that this isn't Jared Leto's version. Because that would just be awful. Like, it would be an entirely different movie. But I am very on board with this, like, dark, dour, depressing movie for some reason.
Yeah, like, it's just gonna, like, we were very worried that we don't want to see the origin of a villain, because, you know, the mystique is, you know, kind of like the fun part about it. But this trailer definitely sold me, so I'm glad that this is where it's going. Who knows where it goes from here? Maybe this just ends up being a Logan. It's just like a one-off type of deal. We never see Joaquin Phoenix again as the Joker. He goes off and does some sort of crazy movie about, I don't know, like he's like a alcoholic writer, because that seems to be like the type of movies he likes to make. But this is under the Worlds of DC banner. It could end up not paying off into another film. So, but
and that's okay. Like, if this is good, that's fine with me. Like, I don't know. It's one of those...
I'm almost afraid I might love it so much that, like, if you're able to fabricate an amazing Joker on screen, the next logical step is you have him go up against Batman. And if we never get a chance to see that, I feel like I'm going to be kind of bummed. So,
whose narrative do you tell that from? The Joker's point of view, then, or Batman's point of view?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you definitely have some. You have some options there for sure. You know, it would be kind of interesting is if they're really setting up this worlds of DC, maybe this is a legitimately a fractured Earth, a different universe. Do maybe like kind of like a little bit of like a Spider-Verse angle where maybe there's like a Coca-Cola advertisement in the background, but it's not Coca-Cola. You know, it's like the one that's spelled with like a K. It's just called like Cola or whatever, but it's in that same logo. So the audience knows that this is kind of just a slightly different universe to where everybody's set up to where you can kind of tell maybe a slightly different story about like, you know, Batman. But I don't know, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see going forward. I was not expecting to be seeing a teaser trailer for the Joker so soon and being so positive about it.
Yeah, with quality. The Suicide Squad, this reboot sequel thing, apparently Idris Elba is not going to be playing Deadshot, but will play another character because I think they feel Will Smith and Deadshot, you know, he did kind of was one of the better parts of that movie, and rather than just recast him because he's his schedule is conflicting, they're just going to make him a different character and do that, which is fine with me.
Yeah, and why not? I'm assuming there's tons of weird rogues gallery people that you can put into a squad, and James Gunn, I think, kind of loves taking like weird random characters not a lot of people know about. So maybe he'll be able to like pluck somebody obscure and just maybe Idris Elba will do maybe he'll have like a superpower. You know, Deadshot didn't necessarily have a superpower. Maybe Idris Elba. Maybe he'll just be the same character from Hobbs and Shaw. They just carry him over into Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, he's also kind of like Deadshot was kind of like the Hawkeye of that movie a little bit, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, no real powers, but he was still there. But also in that regard, the other characters confirmed return are Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, and Amanda Waller as their characters again. So
I wonder if this will be a reboot, but maybe they'll just be like vague references to kind of what have happened in the past. You know, in the first Suicide Squad, everybody's meeting Amanda Waller. Maybe in this reboot, all of the characters already know Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller knows of them. They've all met. Maybe they talk about previous missions, but not the details, so we don't have to get into like the nitty gritty of the bad film that they made.
Yeah, they could be like, oh, remember that one time? Like, we don't talk about that time. And then they move on. So, am I excited about this? Yeah, it's James Gunn, but do they have me on board yet? Not really. Not like some of the other movies in there. So.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't quite learned my lesson of just being so hardcore into a director, and then I get let down because that's happened to me before in the past. Every new movie is a whole new different beast. So I hope the movie's good.
Yeah, I hope so. Mike, we're going to step into your favorite, the anime corner here.
I almost thought this wasn't in the show notes, but then I like panically scrolled down earlier in the show and I saw it was there, and then I was happy.
Oh yeah, I got you, buddy. Don't you worry. So first and foremost, this is where you're going to talk to me a little bit about the live action version of Cowboy Bebop, an anime they're turning into a live action show on Netflix, I believe.
Yes, on Netflix.
And actor John Cho, he went to White Castle once with Kumar. He will be playing the character Spike, which I believe is the main character.
Spike Spiegel, the main character in Cowboy Bebop. And when the casting was announced, I think a lot of people were very happy that the role wasn't being whitewashed, which kind of happens with westernized versions of anime. So that's great. At first, I was kind of thrown off because, you know, a lot of people think of John Cho from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Some people also might think of him from like a political point because he dove really deeply into politics after kind of his success as an actor. Then he kind of has come back recently. He did a really successful movie called Searching, where the whole movie takes place on like a computer screen where he's trying to find a missing person, and you just see like Skype windows and like FaceTime windows. Apparently it's really good. I haven't seen it. But I totally forgot that he has been in an action movie. He was in Star Trek. He has been on spaceships and stuff, swinging swords around and fighting, doing like kung fu and stuff like that. So like, hey, I think actually this will really work. So totally down for this. But I was also very happy to see that they cast Buddy, his kind of cohort in the film, another bounty hunter, Jet Black, as I don't know if I can pronounce his name quite right, but he was the Jamaican in season 2 of Luke Cage, and I actually really
Mustafa Shakir, yeah.
Yeah,
he was what was his name?
Oh God, why can't I remember?
Bushmaster.
Bushmaster. That's right. I was trying to channel the accent of it to get to the name.
That's how I'll remember it, because you're like, I'll always say it in that accent now.
The
So.
Bushmaster. But he was great in Luke Cage season 2. I loved the character. I loved his acting. So I'm really happy to see him. It'll be interesting because I don't really know what his normal accent is. I would assume maybe he's not Jamaican, or if he is, maybe he can pull off like a non-accent. But Jet Black in the show doesn't have any sort of like Cajun or Jamaican accent or anything like that. And this other woman, I'm not too sure who she is, but she's been in a franchise. I don't know what it is, or she's been in something, but she's playing the character Faye Valentine. Daniela.
She was in the last Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was the kind of the vet tech, wasn't she, with the glasses?
Yeah.
That had never seen a dinosaur, but apparently was an expert in them. So that was kind of bizarre. So she's coming over from a big franchise. And then Alex Hassel, who I've never heard of before, is basically playing the villain known as Vicious. So this is actually really solid casting, even though I don't know who this last guy is, but he kind of looks menacing. I wouldn't expect that kind of casting for the character of Vicious, but I think when you do a live action version of an anime, your best route to success is kind of tell an original story with a familiar character. So they might be taking a different avenue for Vicious, but this is good news. This is very good news. I haven't seen anybody complain about it, and I believe you can go watch an English dub or even subs of Cowboy Bebop on Hulu right now. And I think people still recommend English dubs for Cowboy Bebop. It's one of the few animes that just really knocked it out of the park. Doing the English version of it. The music in it is amazing. It's being written by Christopher Yost, who wrote on the Thor films. And I think he did something else superhero related too that I can't quite remember.
He did.
So,
I think he wrote Max Steel, but he wrote a lot of comic books. So the not Superior Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider. Actually, I met him. I had an interview with him from Detroit one time. He signed my Thor: The Dark World prelude book.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is very good news, very exciting, very much looking forward to this. The best thing I can say is go watch Cowboy Bebop on Hulu. It'll ruin every other anime for you because it's a master of its craft. It's an amazing piece of television, and hopefully the live action does it justice.
There you go. And lastly, have you seen the movie Akira?
It's actually been a really long time. I've been wanting to rewatch it, but it's not streaming anywhere. It's actually not very easy to purchase. I think it's kind of hard to track down on iTunes too. Like, I think it might technically be listed under television for some reason, or I couldn't find it under the movies category. I don't know where it lives, but I do need to rewatch Akira.
Mm-hmm. So the Akira movie, everyone knows it because it has the guy on the red motorcycle on the cover. If you've ever seen like a list of animes you should watch. And Taika Waititi's live-action adaptation is moving forward at Warner Brothers.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this, Chris.
Why?
This, have you seen Akira?
No, God, it's been a minute too.
I mean, it's this. I feel like we're in danger of possibly going down the Ghost in the Shell route again, where Ghost in the Shell was such an influential anime. Akira is kind of the same way. I almost feel like even if Taika Waititi really pulls off the story, it's going to feel like a story we've all seen before. You know, Stranger Things almost takes a lot of components from Akira, you know, probably, you know, in a loving way. I'm sure it's not just malicious, but I feel like unless they really try to tell a unique take on Akira, it's just going to seem bland. It's just going to seem like, yeah, we've seen all this already. It's kind of the downside of being a trendsetter, you know, back in the day, is if you try to remake it or adapt it to live action in a faithful way, you're just telling the same kind of old story again. So we can obviously trust Taika's direction because he's amazing. We love everything that he's done. So it would be kind of weird because he has a very humorous sensibility, and from what I can remember, Akira is not funny in any way. It's very dramatic. Lots of Cronenberg-esque flesh monsters and the struggle between friends and evil corporations, and
it's kind of it's very much Alita Battle Angel, but with like telekinesis rather than robot people.
Yeah, maybe you can look at it that way. So I don't know how this gets adapted. But, you know, if my wish is to tell it from a different take, maybe Taika Waititi's the right person. But, yeah, I just don't go the Ghost in the Shell route. Please don't do that.
Oh, it's doing it. I don't think anyone's going to after the dumpster fire that kind of was, though. I think that's like, here's the bar we don't ever want to hit again kind of deal.
Some other well-known director was attached to Akira for a brief amount of time, and then that fell through, and that director ended up making a film that everybody really, really liked. I wish I could remember the specifics, but I do remember somebody on Twitter going out of their way to say, I'm so glad that all of their time wasn't taken up with Akira because we got this instead. So, Taika, I'm crossing my fingers that this isn't taking you away from something possibly even better.
Yeah, well, he's overseeing the production, so maybe he's not the director directly, but Leonardo DiCaprio is a producer as well.
Oh, yeah, this could be one of those weird things where you just get a high-level director to executive produce it, kind of like with Alita. James Cameron was an EP; he wasn't actually the director, so. Maybe that's what they're doing here. That's still weird. Like, Taika Waititi, this is just not in his brand. I don't understand this move, really. But, I don't know. He's a cool guy, so...
Well, if he's got enough pull lately, maybe he could be like, I want to do this right. You know, like, watch what I did with Thor. Let me do something right.
Maybe he wants to prove that he can kind of do something out of his type. I mean, I still haven't seen Hunt for the Wilder People, so maybe there's some gems in there that point to Akira success, but... write in and let us know what you think. If you have seen Akira a lot more recently than we have, I think literally it could be 20 years since I've seen Akira. It's been a long time. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Big in the 90s. Well, that's the show for this week, Mike. People want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter. I've been drawing a lot more lately, so check me out on social media to see my illustrations. And you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, maybe get into a nitty-gritty conversations about this Avengers Endgame trailer that I'm not going to watch, where can they reach you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. You can also head over to Comic UI and go from there. If people want to know more about our show, maybe tune in for next week's Hellboy review episode. Where can they find all our episodes and shows at?
Yes. Please visit superheroslate.com to find all the avenues that we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. So if you do want to see that brutally rated R Hellboy trailer, we got the link in our notes. We got the link to the Joker trailer. We also got a really awesome page on our website where you can see all of the releases coming out for the movies. Summer's gearing up. You got to know when these films are coming out, so visit superheroslate.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you guys. Reach out to us on Twitter. Reach out to us in the YouTube comments. We love hearing from you, and we love our fans. Review us on iTunes. I don't think I've asked that in a while. Reviews help the algorithm and help us get in front of new, fresh ears. But the best way to do that is just to become a super fan by sharing the friend with a buddy. Share the show with a friend, and we will be here next week twice. We're going to be talking about Hellboy and probably talking about Star Wars news.
Yeah.
The news.
You gotta share those friends with your buddies, guys. That's what Mike did.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you said the first time. But I still want to know.
I got 80 milligrams of caffeine in me, Chris. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, it's dinner time here myself. I feel you. So yeah, we'll catch you guys twice next week and send in your Hellboy reviews if you see it early. And we'll see you then.
Go see Shazam.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Why eat water when you can drink it?
Yeah, I know, right?